Chief, go ahead, sir.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Executive Chief Slinkard, Houston Police Department. We're out here at the intersection of MLK and Van Fleet on what is an officer-involved shooting this afternoon. So let me give you an update on what we know right now and the preliminary information. At about 10 o'clock this morning is when this incident occurred here at the intersection of MLK and Van Fleet in the gas station parking lot behind us. I'm joined here by several members of our executive staff and our team that's out here handling the situation, and we're going to be out here for several hours while this investigation unfolds. But we had our members of our SWAT team today that were working with our crime suppression team to try to assist in apprehending a violent fugitive that they'd been looking for that has as many as 6 potential felony outstanding warrants, 5 of which we believe are for aggravated assault deadly weapon and 1 for a family violence felony warrant. And so when officers had this suspect under surveillance, that suspect was in a vehicle as a passenger. That vehicle pulled into this gas station parking lot, and the driver parked the vehicle and then got out of the car. At that time, the suspect was alone and in the passenger seat. Officers felt that was a good and safe time with nobody else in the vehicle to try to bring the suspect into custody. As officers activated emergency equipment and pulled in behind the suspect vehicle, that suspect moved from the passenger side to the driver's side and tried to go in reverse and exit this parking lot. Actually struck one of the police vehicles and then pulled forward. As he was pulling forward, officers were approaching. One of our officers discharged his firearm. Only one officer has discharged at this time, and I don't know how many times. That will be part of the investigation. The suspect remained in the vehicle, and officers had information that the suspect was in possession of a firearm, which we later recovered to be what appears a Glock pistol, a semi-automatic handgun. Officers backed off at that point because the suspect remained in the vehicle and wanted to make a safe approach and try to get that suspect out of the car. At that time, they did not know if the suspect had been struck or if he needed medical attention, but they believed that he likely did. Officers waited for quite some time, and then in interest of safety for them, before making an approach, they deployed a less than lethal option, which was gas deployment into the vehicle to try to get the suspect to come out. After deploying gas, officers did hear one more gunshot. We do not know at this time if that gunshot was from the suspect's own firearm and possibly a self-inflicted wound. We do not know that yet, and it's too early to confirm. We do know that the suspect left here with injuries en route to Memorial Hermann Hospital, transported by HFD, and those injuries have placed that suspect in critical condition right now. But what we do know is we had one officer discharge. We did hear one additional shot. Officers on the scene, after they had deployed gas, that came from inside the vehicle. They believe that was the suspect discharging the pistol that he was in possession of, but again, too early to speculate, and that'll be part of the investigation moving forward. The one officer that discharged is a full-time member of our SWAT team and is an approximately 11-year veteran of the Houston Police Department. No other citizens were injured as part of this incident, and no other officers were injured as part of this incident. Our suspect in this case that was wanted on those multiple outstanding warrants appears to be an African-American male, approximately 20 years of age, but I won't be giving identity out here on the scene today. That will be part of our continuing investigation. We'll be out here for several hours with members of the Harris County District Attorney's Office, the Special Investigations Unit of Homicide Division. As per our policy, the officer will be on administrative duties while we continue our investigation, and the Houston Forensic Science Center will also be out here for several hours processing information. So with that, I'll yield and answer any questions that you all have.
How long have you been searching for?
I don't know. That'll be part of the investigation, but they were assisting our crime suppression teams with this fugitive investigation to try to get this suspect in custody. But I don't know how long they've been looking for this particular suspect. But I think it's potentially, one update I heard was possibly a matter of weeks.
I mean, how does it feel knowing that this individual has been apprehended?
Well, obviously this individual is in critical condition right now, and our prayers go out for him as well. We never want these situations to end with anybody being injured. We definitely want to bring suspects into custody as safely as possible. And so, we just hope that, this individual is getting the treatment that he needs, right, for those injuries sustained during this incident. And again, if we get an update on that status medically, we'll give that to you later today when we find out more. But These are dangerous encounters, especially when you're trying to bring someone into custody that is in possession of a firearm, someone who then tries to flee after trying to get them in custody, and when officers have obviously approached and are trying to get you in custody when you're the only one in the vehicle because the other occupant had left. And so you try to do these as safely as possible, but at times there's always some inherent danger that you can just never avoid.
So the red vehicles, I imagine?
The vehicle here in the front of in the front of the gas station parking lot. Yes, it's the red vehicle that you're referring to. Okay.
Could you speak to the efforts that the SWAT team and your officers brought to the scene today?
Well, as we've been saying for many weeks, the chief has said many times, with support of other city leaders, we are doing everything we can to get violent offenders into custody and combat the violent crime and some of that rise that we've seen, especially in shootings or in homicide like the rest of the nation has over the last couple of years. And we've been very vocal about that, and we've been doing everything we can to try to apprehend violent offenders, and especially violent offenders that are committing crimes with firearms. And so our officers are laser focused in doing that. But when we go about that work every single day, then unfortunately there's some inherent dangers that come along with that. Any other questions you have?
You covered it all.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate you, sir.